Hello everybody, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today I'm here to tell you that I will be participating in the Romance Readers Bingo 2018 going on throughout the entire summer until the end of August. Started June 1st. Yes, I know it is the middle of June and I am very late as always with these things, but I'm still very excited. I've already started and yeah, this is going to be hosted by it is hosted by Sarah over at Not Just Romance Novels and Sissy over at Romance Booktube Queen. And I will link all of the information below in case you want to participate. It's never too late to participate in my eyes. So I've already printed out my bingo card. So this will be my bingo card for the entire summer. And yeah, I've already finished one book and I just haven't got a chance to cross it off yet on the sheet because I just printed it out last night. And yeah. So the first book that I will be reading, and there are about 25 challenges. Now I have 11 books to show you for my TBR. I don't know if I'll go more than that, but 11 books to me is a good starting point. And these are books that I have. Either I own a physical copy or I have it on my Kindle and I'll show you a picture. But the first book that I have is Ever After by Rachel Lacey. This was a paperback copy that I had on my shelf for a while. And yeah, it was a great, sweet contemporary romance about a woman who's fighting for the rights of animals and against the abuse of animals. And she gets caught spray painting a sign on the outside of a chicken factory and gets arrested. And a romance ensues between her and the detective who's investigating the case. So it's just a cute, sweet, quick romance. I read this in one sitting, and all of the challenges will be listed in the description below, but one of the challenges is to pick a book with a dog or a cat on the cover, and this has both. And also it's a contemporary romance, which is another one of the challenges. So good pick and really sweet, fun read. Now I may look down on my phone from time to time just so that I can, just because I have all of the books listed. So the next book I have is Kiss of the Highlander by Karen Marie Moning. I read the Dark Fever series by Karen Marie Moning, and I've wanted to read more by her. I know she has a whole slew of Highlander books in a series that I have not yet read. So I figured I would delve into that and read one of those books, which is Kiss of the Highlander. You can read them out of order. But knowing how much I love the Dark Fever series, I know that I already love her writing and her storytelling. So I feel like that will be a good starting point for me for this whole summer readathon. And I don't remember what categories these all will fit into, but each week when I do my Friday reads, I'll give you an update and I'll show you my bingo card and what I've completed so far. The next book I have is Somewhere in Time by Richard Matheson. This is my only cheat for the readathon because this is actually a reread. I read this book when I was in high school. I was like a sophomore in high school. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had a couple of friends in high school who were readers and like me. And they recommended this book. It is a time travel book mixed with romance. So it follows this man, Richard Collier, and he finds a way to go back in time and he falls in love. And this book is sweet. It has a little bit of bitterness in it. I just remember loving it. I hope I love it as much as an adult. This book was written actually, I think in the 70s. And I think it was written in 1980. And I know when I was a kid, I saw a movie of this book on TV. And I think it was also made in like, close to when this book came out. And it starred Christopher Reeve. If you don't know, Christopher Reeve was like the original Superman in all of the Superman movies in the 70s and 80s. And he played the main character. That's all I really remember. Yeah, it was already an old movie when I saw it, and yeah. So I cannot wait to read this. I feel like it's a cheat because it's a reread, but I really wanted to reread this for a long time. So I figured, you know what, I'm gonna put it in and I'm gonna count it. The next book that I'll be reading for the romance readers bingo is Remembrance by Jude Deveraux. Jude Deveraux also writes these romance novels mixed with magic and fantasy. I read Legend by Jude Deveraux several years ago. Really enjoyed it. It was about, I think it had to do with time travel as well. So hard to remember all of the books that I've read over the years, but I just remember loving it so much. So I thought, you know, I'm going to read another book by her because I never did. So Remembrance by Jude Deveraux is my next pick. The next book that I picked out is New York Actually by Sarah Morgan. Um, yes, Sarah Morgan. So I've read a couple of books by her, and it's like sort of her Manhattan series, I think it's part of. I have to look. But I really enjoyed the couple of books I've read by her, and I know that she's a romance author that I can love and get through quickly. So I decided to pick up another book by her, and it's New York Actually. So the next book that I picked is The Color of Love by Sharon Sala. This is a book that is kind of a small town romance. It takes place in Georgia in a very small town called Blessings, and it is, I think it's a romance mixed a little bit with mystery as well, because it follows a young woman, I can't remember names right now, who goes to Blessings, Georgia, I think, for a new start, and somebody is also after her, so there are a lot of secrets and things going on in her life, and she contacts a lawyer. The local lawyer and her, I think, form a romance in the book, and it goes from there. Um, it just seemed like a really sweet story when I read the synopsis originally, so I thought I'm going to include that and give that a go in during the summer. The next book that I have is The Lucky Ones by Tiffany Reese. Now, when I was looking through Goodreads lists of romances, I came upon this book, but when I read the synopsis, it didn't seem like a romance. It seemed more of a mystery thriller. So I'm going to give it a go because it was on the list and it seems interesting, but I don't know where romance comes into play with this book. It's about a girl who was adopted by a large family, and they adopted several children, a lot of different orphans. And something happened one night when she was a little girl, and she was, I think there was violence involved, and she was kidnapped and torn away from her adoptive family. And years later, she's returning and determined to find out what happened that fateful night. As you can see, I don't know what romance has to do with this book. All I can say is it was on the list. So if it doesn't have romance, then, you know, I'll still read it and I'll just read something else along with it. So one of the challenges is to read a book by a author writing under a pseudonym. And this is an author that you're all familiar with, and it's actually a pseudonym, which I just found out was a pseudonym not too long ago. And that is Sophie Kinsella, and that is her basic book that everyone knows about, and that is The Shopaholic. Um, Confessions of a Shopaholic, rather. I've never read this book. I've actually never read a Sophie Kinsella book. I've seen this movie though. I saw this movie years and years ago. Um, it was a fun, cute movie, but I'm excited to give the book a go. I've had this book. I was planning on reading it for the Chick Lit Readathon, which I failed at. But but yeah, it's about a woman that has a shopping addiction and goes into incredible debt, and it's a comedy also, you know, shenanigans ensue, and it just should be a fun, fun read. I hope to love it as much as I love the movie. So I already know the story, so I don't know if that's a cheat, but yeah. The book is always better than the movie anyway, so hopefully this will be that. The next book I have is Say You'll Remember Me by Katie McGarry. Katie McGarry is a well-known romance author, mostly in the YA genre, but this seems like a really cute story. It's about a girl, Elle, who grows up in kind of a well-to-do family, and she is the governor's daughter as well, and she falls for a man that is kind of the opposite of what her family wanted for her. So it's her books are always fun and fast, and I cannot wait to get to this one. And this is a fairly new release also, which is one of the challenges as well. So the next book I bought for $1, and it's pretty beat up, and it is The Book of Tomorrow by Cecilia Ahern. I read another one of her books and I really enjoyed it, so I couldn't wait to get into this one. This seems like a contemporary romance with a little bit of magic. Again, this was one of the books listed on the romance list on Goodreads. I don't know where romance comes into it. The synopsis just says that she came upon a very old book with a clasp on it, and when she opens the book, it kind of reveals her own future. It's a young girl. I think she's about 16 or 17 in this book. So, yes, I'm excited to get into it, and hopefully it fits into one of the categories. So, this book is another one that I picked. Okay, the next book that I picked is called One in a Million, and it is by Lindsay Kelk. This book actually isn't even out yet. It comes out on July 12th. So I already pre-ordered it because it seems like such a fun romantic comedy, and it is about a woman who takes up a challenge, and that challenge is to take a stranger, a man, and make him Instagram famous in 30 days. So doesn't that just sound like fun? It's supposed to be very comedic and witty and just a fun, quick read. So I cannot wait to get that book, and yeah, I should get it in a month or so. The next book I picked is My Mamma Mia by Annie Robertson. This book is right up my alley. It involves romance. It involves Grease. It involves Mamma Mia, the famous play, Broadway show, and movie. I've seen both. Love it. I'm such a Broadway fanatic, and when I saw this book, I knew I had to have it. This book also comes out in a couple weeks, I think. This book follows a character, a woman, who is obsessed with Mamma Mia and everything Broadway, and she needs a change in her life. So she decides to make Mamma Mia, the plot, her own life. So she moves to the small island in Greece, and she makes this life revolving around the storylines of Mamma Mia. I am so excited. I came upon this again in one of the lists, and yes, I think that it will just be such a joy to read, and I cannot wait to read it. And the final book that I have on my TBR list is Now That You Mention It by Krista Higgins. This book, as far as I can tell, is about a woman who was really living a good life. She was on the fast track in Boston Medical College, doing very well with a lot of promise in her future, and she gets into a bad car accident, and I mean, at the same time, her boyfriend breaks up with her. Things just go down. And during her healing process and everything, she is forced to go home to her family, which she hasn't been there for years. And I think it's about, dealing with her past, dealing with her family issues, but also healing and, having a chance to start again. And I know that romance is very much involved in that starting again process. So, yeah, that is the last book that I have on my TBR. So that is it. That is all I have for you. That is my Summer Romance Bingo TBR. I will link, again, like I said in the beginning, I will put all of the information below in case you want to participate. I love romance. I mean, I love a variety. I won't just read romance this summer. Of course, I think I would go crazy. I like to have a variety. But these will be mixed in each week with my books as well. And yeah, I just love that this is taking place. I love that it's taking place over the whole summer. And hopefully I really love all of the books that I picked. And who knows, those were only 11 books. I may pick up more if I get through them very quickly. So who knows? I'm going to try to get bingo on this card, but I'm also going to try to fill in as many squares as I possibly can by the end of August. So that is all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. If you're taking place, let me know. I've watched a couple of TBR videos already, and I'm very excited. And there's a Goodreads group as well, which will be linked below. And yeah, so I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.